Hello, friends, and welcome back to the shop. Today is Sunday, August 24th, and it is a beautiful sunny morning here in southeastern Pennsylvania. You can see I'm doing this relatively early, and the sun is actually streaming through the window here above my right shoulder, and hopefully that won't bother you too much because I'll be like half. Ah, so had a great week, having a good weekend. Wife was in Pittsburgh, as some of you know if you watch the live stream, because I talked about it there quite a bit. I might have mentioned it last week. I don't know. Anyway, she went out there to spend time with her mom. She came back last night, and it's good to have her back. Unfortunately, I think that means we got to go shopping today, but such is life. But I had a great week because I actually had the opportunity to work from home. I think 3 days out of the five last week, which is still work. I still am doing actually more than 8 hours a day because I usually get started when I work from home. I usually start like 6:30, 7 o'clock. Um, but it means that I have that time. Like I get up early, I check email, and then I've got like a couple hours where I don't have to worry about commuting or anything. So I've been using that as shop time. And then in the evening, because my wife wasn't around, I had more time to come down here. So I actually did some pipe work this past week, which is pretty cool. Anyway, before I get into that, got an Irish second. Love the old Irish seconds. This was from the 1980s, and it has some haunted bookshop in it because I'm just in the mood for the familiar this morning. Nothing exotic. So yes, so I've been playing with. So I'm not a pipe maker, I'm not a pipe carver. I'm just a guy that goofs around with some briar, and probably will be for all eternity because I just, well, first off, I don't have the time to put into it. I don't have the skills. I don't have the time to build the skills that some of these guys have that, I think rightly call themselves pipe makers. Um, I'm just a guy tinkering, and I like tinkering. I do know pipe restoration, and I've done that for a long time, and I call myself a pipe restorer. And in the process of that, I learned a lot about what does and doesn't work in a pipe. So I thought, well, it would be really fun to try to play with those things in my own way and just see what does and doesn't work at a more, I don't know, in a more controlled way. So, you can take pipe A and pipe B, and you can say, well, this one has this kind of draft hole, and this one has that kind of draft hole. Let's smoke them both. But then you got to go out and find those two pipes, right? Whereas if I can make pipes, I can make a pipe that has draft hole A versus draft hole B, and I can try them, and I know that every other thing in that pipe is the same. I can get it from same briar source, age of the briar for the same amount of time. So I can run experiments, and I'm a scientist. I like running experiments, so that's what I've been doing. Um, so so far I haven't really run any experiments because what I decided to do was give myself a challenge. I like being challenged. So I said, okay, billiard, classic shape. Any advice, any place you look, the advice you're going to get is don't make anything until you can make a billiard. Um, Make a billiard, but don't try to make a billiard, but don't go crazy. Don't start making wacky freehand pipes and those things that make custom built proud. Just keep working on billiards. And so I said, okay, I'm going to make 10 billiards. And I've been doing this for a few years now because I'm slow. Uh, I'm going to show you a couple of pipes. The one that I am still working on, I actually started in May of 2024. I'm embarrassed to say, but I put it down and started doing shop organization stuff. And if you've been watching me for a while, you know that saga. Still have to make drawers. I will make drawers. So anyway, I've been May of 2024. I started the most recent pipe. Probably stopped by about June, and it was a crazy year too. Lots of stuff was going on. Probably stopped sometime in June and didn't touch it. Didn't even take any notes on it. And again, scientist. I write everything down. So I don't even really know if I know a few things I changed. I'll tell you about them. But I had to go and uh, get out measuring tools and measure some stuff just to make sure I was right about some of the things I thought I had done. Uh, yeah. So anyway, I'll show you a couple things and we'll talk through some of the stuff I've been playing with. So this is the last one that I've completed. I still haven't done final polish on this guy, and I probably have shown this to you 17 times now. Not because I'm particularly proud of it or anything, but because it's the last thing I did. Again, I still have to probably. I don't think I've really done the final buffing and waxing on that. So, and it's it's nice. I'm proud of the shape. I guess I'm proud of the shape. I think it came out well, and yeah, happy with that. So, something to note, and I'm afraid that our furnace is going to turn on here in a moment. Not because it's cold, but because it heats the water. So that might be a. I will try to talk through it. I hate to edit, so if you look, I'm fairly happy with the contrast stain on this. You know, it's not terrible. Hopefully that's coming up okay. It's not terrible, but it's still a little muddy to me. It just the blacks are not as sharp as I'd like them to be. And I've got this piece of briar that I play with, trying to do different staining methods. And then when I'm happy, I'll just saw it off and refinish it again and try a different method. So the method I was using there is what's on this block here. And you know, it's okay. It's definitely okay. It just again, it's a little muddy to me. Hope you know what I mean by that. It's just not as sharp as I'd like it to be. So I've been playing around with other methods, and these are chemical stains, by the way. So you put something on, and then you let it dry, and then you add something else, and that causes everything to turn black, and then you sand it. So it's different from just dyeing. And this is the thing I've been playing with, and I think it's a better stain. Now, this is a terrible block. It's got cracks and divots in it and everything else, so don't worry too much about the surface. But, you know, you can see that I think that's a little bit sharper. And I also did that on the top to see how it played with the bird's eye. And, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So, that's something I've been playing with over the past week or so, just being a bit of a mad scientist down here and pretending I know chemistry, which I don't. I know about as much chemistry as you need to get by as a biologist, which is not very much chemistry. I know how to spell pH. So, the pipe that began in May of 2024, which, as of last Sunday, I believe, maybe I started this on Saturday, I can't remember, but as of about a week ago, was still a rough turn block. You know, still had the lathe attachment points and was just turned down to the point where you could start to see a pipe in it. I now have this. And I am actually pretty happy with this guy. Honestly, I like the shape on this one more, and I think it's because I waited too long and I forgot what I was doing. So I've got to furnace finally done. I got to relearn some things, which is fine. It's part of the process, but repetition is important, and certainly as you get older, proximity of repetition becomes more important. Now this is again a very ugly piece of briar, which I intentionally am using these blocks with flaws in them. I don't really care. This is about shaping and drilling and then testing. It's not about a long-lasting pipe at all. I don't even know what's going to happen with these 10. Well, I know what happened with one of them, but so this is number 5, by the way. And it's not done. I still got to do sanding and finishing on it. The stem is pretty close to final, and I'm happy with the stem. I don't like this shape so much. But what I did with this stem was I said, you know, I've made a lot of stems. Let me just knock this out as much as possible on the sander. And I've never done that before. I usually do a lot more filing. And it worked, but I didn't get to be as careful about the shaping as I would have liked to have been. The lines there are fine. I'm happy with that. It's just that line. I would have liked to have narrowed this down a bit more and had this a bit wider up here. But yeah, such is life. So what did I do differently? Well, a couple things. One is I tried to do one of these short tenons. Normally, we can do a comparison. I assume this has a normal tenon. Yeah. So, see the difference there. I've got a lot of pipes with short tenons, and it seems like a lot of artisans like to use the short ones. I don't know why. Never talked to anybody about it. I hate this. I will never do this again. The reason being, excuse me for a moment, part of my workflow when I'm shaping stems is I've got blocks like this that I like to just kind of stick this into. Where is it? It'll fit in one of these. There we go. And then I can put this in my vise and I can turn it this way and my vise turns that way. So I can pretty much get it any angle I want. Well, guess what? If your tenon's only that short, it doesn't stay in there very well. So it eliminated that from my workflow, and I had to use different methods. And I guess that challenged me, which is good. But you know, live and learn. And honestly, that's the part of this that I'm enjoying most. It's not having a pipe at the end. It's just trying different things and seeing what works and what doesn't. It's a lot of fun. And yes, I could have gotten in touch with somebody with more experience than me and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this. What are the pros and cons and all that?" But I think, and there's a lot of people that would be very generous with that information. I just think I retain it better when I learn it myself. Plus, I have fun. So any pipe makers that might be watching, you can yell at me and say, "Of course it didn't work." Or you can tell me how you're supposed to actually shape the stem when it's on the pipe and push it up against something, which is what I wound up doing. So I learned that method too. The other thing I did with this is different, and I'm still not sure about it. So I had the opportunity to work on a lot of what I'll just call higher end pipes, higher end artisan pipes over the years. And anytime I get a pipe, well, not a gray bow, but you know, a pipe, certainly an artisan pipe, or maybe something like a Dunhill or you know, higher end pipes. I always measure everything, and I do that. I keep a notebook, and I'll just say, you know, this pipe, this maker, um, the button dimensions, and the tobacco chamber dimensions and things like that. I just like to catalog that because then I can look at it and say, you know, what's an average button width look like, you know, and things like that. So it just, again, scientists, they do this kind of stuff. I'm a lot of fun at parties, I tell you. So as part of this, I play around and look at the airways, and I've got different drill rod sizes that I can use to kind of gauge out the airway and how deep does it go for this width versus this width. And it turns out that on a lot, and I'm not going to name any makers or anything, but on a fair number of high-end pipes, I have found, fair number, more than a few, I have found that the airway for the stem is just drilled with a straight 3mm bit, which surprised me because I thought that it was common to use a tapered bit to drill the airway. And I thought, well, heck, it would be a lot easier to do a straight 3 millimeter bit, or certainly be a lot less expensive because those tapered bits are expensive. So on this one, I've drilled the airway with a 3 millimeter bit, and it's got a little. I don't think they're that different, but this one feels more open to me, and I like an open draw. This one I can feel just a little bit of restriction. I haven't yet polished the innards of the stem, so maybe that's part of the problem. I doubt it, though. Anyway, that's what I've been playing with. So the plan is that I'll be doing some final sanding on this guy and running through that new staining process on it. You can see the flaws that I filled in this. This is going to be ugly as all get out, and the grain isn't all that great either. I just want to try the new staining process on it, and depending on how it looks, I might go ahead and rusticate it or something. I don't know. We'll see. Because you need practice doing that sort of stuff too. Yes, that's what I've been up to. Avoiding real work and making a mess. So I hope everyone is doing well. I've got not exactly sure what's going on today, other than a few little household chores and possibly having to go shopping. We'll see. We'll see. Pray for me. No, that'll be fine. I just hate shit. I can go shopping and I can do it in 10 minutes what takes my wife 3 hours to do. And it's a different approach to shopping. I shop the way people do tactical strikes on, you know, I don't want to say what you would do a tactical strike on because I don't want YouTube to flag me. Whereas my wife is more of a, let's see what's going on at this store. I'm a military shopper. My wife is more of a cocktail party shopper, if that makes any sense. So, yes, we shall do that and see what else is going on and hopefully get through Sunday just fine and move on to Monday and back to the work week. So, I hope you all are having a fantastic Sunday and looking forward to a great week ahead. Hope you enjoyed me rambling on about what I've been messing around with here and my various experiments. I'll keep you posted as things develop on that front. And yeah, have a great week. So until we speak again, I will look forward to talking to you all again very soon. Goodbye now.